Hello, everyone. It is Kenyon here. It's Basketball Rewind, and we've survived another week on this earth. The way that things are looking these days, figured I'd put that out there. Hope everyone's doing good. Like, comment, and subscribe. Might be your last one. Just kidding. Hopefully not. With that being said, we have a week in Raptors land to discuss, and then go towards the next segment outside of the NBA, which is it's getting that time to draft talk. So let's talk about it. Recapping the week, the Raptors played the Pistons, the Pelicans, and they just wrapped up a back-to-back game series with the Heat. So before I get into that, we need to add one other game because we covered it, but we didn't cover it on the pod, and that is the Cleveland game. So, for this week, you guys were technically correct, 2-2. I can't remember what I said. I don't really matter for that, but you guys said 2-2. You guys were right. You guys had the correct split. New Orleans was 1. Of course, they're on fumes. They got to get healthy. And then, of course, beyond you and I were talking during the game, the streets are undefeated in Toronto.
Sunday afternoon.
I said they got to keep the talent in the back.
Exactly.
And we'll just leave it at that. Those who know.
Oh, Jimmy Butler loves this place.
No doubt. He isn't the only one. I know it's not Carabana, but it's always good to be in Toronto.
So top 5, baby.
Hey, I'm looking to go this year.
Yes, yeah, we will.
This summer.
We'll have to sort something out for sure.
Bring the Maritimer to Caravana.
Yes. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry. Okay, so
you know it's going down. Grady knows what's going down.
No doubt, he had the full meal deal. So yeah, we lost to Cleveland. We obviously lost to the Pistons. If you are watching, by 2, that Jaden Ivey, as others have said, that shot is there every single game, multiple times a game, but he still made it go down and it made it look good doing it. Of course, the results of the Pelicans, they won against the Pelicans, which we just mentioned, and they split against the Heat. Before I look at the week ahead, I will say that, again, these wins are coming against Inter. I'm going to put the Miami game aside because, that's just, we already kind of talked about that. But I will say this is that the Pelicans win is not something that I would glean a whole ton from, because when the Pelicans are missing Brandon Ingram, Zion, I don't even know if they had Tice. I don't remember Jose Alvarado playing. They definitely didn't have
play.
CJ McCollum. It was basically whatever the Pelicans G League squad is. That is essentially who we faced. They didn't even have Herb Jones or I think Trey Murphy. I don't remember who they had.
It wasn't Tice.
Okay, swell. So removing that game, they got 1 against the Heat. What I will say is the most recent one in the Heat is very interesting because Mr. Darko remembered that he has timeouts and he remembered how to use them. Beyond, I'm going to start with you, and then Coach, I'm going to go to you. Of course, how are you guys doing? But what are your thoughts on the week before we look ahead?
As expected, they won where they should have won. We got obviously joked about the Toronto streets. To be fair, back-to-backs are difficult to win both games when the teams in this case aren't that much different from a talent standpoint at this point. I think there is a difference. Miami's a bit better, but Miami's one of those type of teams that can kind of, fall asleep when they're ready. So, it is what it is. And I thought it was a weird week. It had a bit of everything in it if you count the Cleveland game from last Sunday. I think every game was a bit unique in that sense. So if you're trying to get beat on this team, good luck. Based on what you see in these 5 games, I can't tell you I can't tell what pattern you can form from this team based on what you saw in the 5 games. So I wish you luck, but we keep on getting more information, more material, perhaps more evidence of things to come.
Coach, your thoughts?
Well, good to see Scotty back. Outside the Cleveland game, I thought he played pretty well. I'm just looking at his 4-game stats. It's him as point guard, as people like to say. You're looking at 31, 14, and 7. That was against Detroit, I believe. Pelicans, 17, 12, and 7. Miami, 24, 10, and 10. And then Miami tonight and Toronto, 23, 10, and 9. So he was flirting with like 4 triple-doubles in a 4-game span. And when we get this kind of productivity out of him, and I don't even think he played that well tonight against Miami. Like, I've seen him play better, I've seen him play worse. But my point is, he almost got a triple-double just by, playing good enough, per se. So it's really good to have him back. I think the defense has gotten a little bit better per the numbers. Now, it's still bad for the team. We're still in the bottom 20, per se. But him and RJ had a better 2-game stretch away than he has in this season, and of course what he's been doing at home. There's death, there's taxes, and there's an RJ 30-point game at home. There seems to be a bit of a trend there. So you're starting to see some of the pieces come together a little bit. This season certainly is about process, certainly about development, as Beyond has said, and that still should be the focus of this.
Agreed.
Yeah, great points all around. I do think that while the team defense obviously did improve overall over the past 10 games, the offense did not. So the offense has made certain slippages. We are actually this past week in a place where we started to take care of the ball a bit better from a assist to turnover ratio, but there were a lot of other, shall I say, execution mishaps that have happened and game management issues that have occurred down the stretch. I will also just say, if we're going to just call one thing or the other, the point of attack defense against the Heat, I'm going to just focus on the first game, was really bad. I don't want to call out any specific individual right now. It just needs to get better from everyone. And I think that there were lots of moments where the team was not locked in. Also, shout out to Ty Jerome, who had a really good game.
I'll call somebody out.
Sure.
And I'm a fan of his. I wear his jersey. RJ, your defense got to get better, man. You can't have Malik Beasley drive by you.
Yep.
His individual defense has got to get a little bit better. I know there's more, but he's the one that I'm kind of noticed.
Yeah. I will go in the positive side and say, RJ's efficiency on offense, it's really been good to see. I mean, he's 15 of 20 tonight against Miami. Yeah, pretty good night, even down South Beach as well, too. It's good to see that his game is traveling more on the road, as Coach said. A shout out to a guy I've been kind of on a little bit, but I would say, I think this week he made some movements, let's put it that way, in the positive direction. I still think he has a lot of work to do, but I thought Mobo had some good moments this week overall. And it seems like he's finding his footing. I still think he's too apprehensive when it comes to looking for his own shot and actually looking at the basket, but he's made strides, and I think that's something you got to be acknowledged.
Yeah, I agree. I think the other thing that we need to talk about is something that I'm surprised none of you brought up, which is we got a return, and it wasn't Scotty Barnes. It was the rookie.
Well,
Jacoby.
That guy.
Because I want to just point out that, and I'm glad to see the chatter. I'm glad to see us big up the young guys, as they say. Because a lot of people big up one player or another, but some of those same people would have in the past said, why are you bigging up Joe Wieskamp or this or that? Well, we have a 19th pick. And I've seen a lot of people big up Mobo. This isn't shade to Mobo, but a lot more than the 19th pick. And now that they see the 19th pick playing, they're like, this guy has a little bit of game. It's like, yeah, we tried to tell you here on Basketball Rewind. Stay
Well,
subscribed.
you know,
So
you know my theory in this case here. I think a lot of Raptors, quite a bit of Raptors fans in this case, are allergic to talent.
yeah, it's true because you're not used to seeing
Right.
what
Yeah.
like a baseline skill set is. It's like I heard a lot of people on the timelines, as they say, discuss how, oh yeah, people shouldn't have been out on Grady. It's like, who is we?
Right. Speak for yourself.
Who is
I,
we?
yeah, and I think I've said this to you guys before. I mean, me being the Torontonian from birth in this case here,
Yeah,
we have a natural inclination for some reason in this city to gravitate towards the scrappy underdog type of guy
yeah.
more than the star player, extremely harsh on the star player or the really talented dude.
It's like Jamario Moon. It will get like more shine, or like a Joey Graham, or
Anywhere else, JYD is just a dude that's
JYD.
gone through.
yes, yeah.
Here we want to build a statue for him, and he's like the head of something.
They even average like more than like 10 points.
No, like that's my point exactly. Right,
Yet the
that's
guy's
point.
just like Raptors lore.
Or right, exactly. And this is not a Raptors thing. This is across every sport when it comes to Toronto teams.
It really is.
You know, Leaf guys, they'll take a third line centerman and think he's the best thing since sliced bread. Okay, Rick Vibes are ready to run out of town. The first thing going, he scores 50 goals. Screw it. So that's how Toronto fandom is. Don't know why it's like that. Don't get it. For a big city mindset or a big city, they don't have the mindset of a big city mindset because that would not be the case in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago. That's not the case. However, going back to Walter, I think one of the reasons, to your point, Kenyon, why this is happening or why that discussion was happening is, honestly, it's out of sight, out of mind. And I think people
It's
too much
true.
forget, like, it's like, hey, this was the rationale for keeping the pick, folks. This is why we want the pick. This guy. You know, all due respect to second rounders, including your man down there, the G League coach, man. Chom-Chi world.
He's 18.
Like, there was more Chom-Chi chatter in this case here this summer, early this season than I ever heard. Like, Walter, in this case, you can put him on a milk carton. Like, who's that
I
guy?
agree.
And
Yeah.
I'm sitting there going, like, am I missing something here? Like, what the heck? So to see now, all of a sudden they realize, oh, yeah, we had a first round pick. This is who it was. And to see that what he's able to provide, how he's able to create and generate shots for him. And one thing, as you said before, and you might get into it more detail, he ain't bashful. And we got a
No,
lot of bashful dudes on this team, with the not named RJ. I tell you one thing, he is not gonna be a dude who's gonna sit around wondering if he'll get enough shots up.
no. And that's not to say that he is a selfish player, because he does actually try to make the right pass and the right read. He obviously needs to improve in that area. But at the same time, he is finding ways to be productive, and he's picking his spots really well. Being a natural, Baylor guard, he's really good at using screens, so he's good at that. He does automatic relocation threes. I've seen him make very subtle things that maybe the shot didn't go down, but it was the right play and it was the right process. So, I've been really impressed. Actually, I did see Scotty make a mistake in this game, and guess what? He missed out on a pass to Walter late in that game. It's not that big of a deal, but it's like he's presenting himself in the right way, and as his teammates get used to him being available, as long as Darko stops pulling him so much, you're going to see more of that chemistry happen more and more. So yeah.
I just
Now
want
there,
to say something
yeah,
about Jacoby as well. He had a nice play tonight in the lane in the Miami game where he dribbled in, he took a fadeaway jumper under control because you could be out of control taking those type of shots, but he's got a lot of fluidity to his shot and just to his body movements in general. So it was nice to see. I was not as high on Jacoby back during the draft. I knew that he fell to us. Like I knew he was like a top 10 pick before the season had started in college. Then he fell to us. So I understand why they took him. It wasn't until the last summer league game I saw something different from him. I just got to see him a bit more in his offense. He was basically trying to score at all three levels, inside, mid range, outside. He's got very nice form. And that was encouraging to see. And ever since he's been back starting with his team, I'm not making this type of comparison to Anthony Edwards. I'm going to say this. Anthony Edwards came and he took it, right? Towns was the guy, and Anthony Edwards, nah, I'm the guy now in Minnesota. Jacoby Walter is coming for his. Like Beyond said, he's not bashful, right? His first game, 14 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. He's only in his 3 starts, he's shot over 10 shots in 2 of those games.
He's getting to the line too.
And he's getting to the line. So what I'm saying is he's coming for his. Obviously, I'm not saying he's coming for he wants to be best player of the team. I'm not saying that. This dude ain't shy and he's willing to take it. Some guys feel like, oh, we have to wait your turn and stuff. This guy ain't waiting his turn. He's coming for it. Whatever that is for him, he's looking for his game.
He also understands the assignment. So this is one of the things that I've said about Grady, where I'm like, Grady has the talent, but sometimes he doesn't realize it's like, yo, that's your shot. You got to take that shot. And this dude is like, he's not getting anywhere close to those minutes. I mean, he got 17 minutes, but he got up 10 shots, 5 of 10.
Exactly.
And they're not bad shots, by the way.
Didn't notice any that were bad. Nope.
Yep. Yeah. Now, tonight, he did not get, as this is filmed, he did not get to the free throw line, but in his first couple games, he did actually get there. And they're not just fadeaways and stuff. He goes into contact. He actually has the body control. There's a lot of things to like about his game moving forward. I don't know what the ceiling is. I'm not here to really project that. That's not this type of show today. But what I will say is that he has a skill set that even at full health provides on both ends of the ball, something that's been missing. I think the point of attack defense isn't bad. I know that was something that had concerns coming out of Baylor, not going into Baylor, but coming out of Baylor. There was a little bit of concerns of, okay, can he really crank it back up defensively? He had a couple flashes, but not really much. And he's showing that this year in the NBA so far that he can, for a rookie, again, keep this in mind, so it's not a slight, that he can easily punch up to being an average defender very quickly without having to put on like too much time in an NBA strength and conditioning program. His body will get there. Beyond.
Is it too soon to ask 2 questions? And you tell me if we could probe that another time or not. But I guess in the more recent future, this season, what role do you see him playing? For example, there's 2 phases I see. There's the non-quickly roster, and then where does he fit when the quickly roster comes back? And I'm assuming Grady's coming back any day, like next week or so.
Is this focused on this year?
This year only. That's it.
Not looking at the future.
Not looking. I'm just talking about this season. Is he someone in this case here that until quickly comes back, could you consider him being the starting lineup even when Grady comes back?
Yes.
I'm just looking at the starting lineup right now.
The question is,
yes. So there is room for you to do it if you have a coach. I'm going to focus on the non-quickly timeline. Mm-hmm. There is something to say that if the coach believes that you can do it without a proper point guard, which technically we are right now, and really the person who is kind of becoming more of that offensive initiator right now is RJ, then there's room for this guy because he's actually bigger and he's just more offensively gifted than the guy that I'm about to mention. Although the guy that I'm about to mention has a bit more girth to him and has been playing for a little bit longer, I would still choose him, especially if long-term development and rebuild is what matters here. That's the one, and that is Ochai. Ochai has played better, but there's just limits to his game if he's not taking corner threes and cutting to the basketball and to the basket, and that's it. I think there's a little bit more, like, Ochai is not a movement shooter. You have now 2 movement shooters, essentially, and you have 2 guys who can punch up to potentially be, it's a little early, but potentially to be maybe 3-level scores. We know Grady can. The theory of what Jacoby offers is that. And I do think that he deserves to not have his minutes cut. And I think if you play him in the G League, based on what he's shown in the small sample size that we've seen, it would be a waste of development.
He needs to go to the G League at some point this
No,
season?
that's why I'm saying it is a waste for him to go to the G League.
Because
I'm putting my foot down and saying waste if he is in the G League. Unless he gets another injury and needs to be ramped up, different story. But assuming that he's healthy, he should not be in the G League, is my point.
So let me just cut here, Coach. I want to hear your thoughts on this. I'm just going to say it straight. Non-quickly time or roster, there's only 2 options I see for him. Either he's the starter in this case over Ochai, or he's the 6th man, the first guy off the bench. That's it for me with non-quickly time.
He's getting minutes, period. End of story. Done.
Yeah. When Quickly comes back, in my mind, I think he should be at least the 6th man on this team. That's my thoughts about that when Quickly comes back. That's how I see where I envision him, because there is going to be a debate. You mention it offline, but I think that whoever it was very astute that said it. We'll find out how much BS these guys are spilling in this case here on their press conferences. The front office, the coach or the coaching staff, when they talk about this development. All right? Because he's going to be the barometer about the development. Coach, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, 100%. Could he start? And maybe there's an argument for him to start over Ochai, just based on his skill set, yes. Will he start? No. Ochai will start once Grady comes back. I think they want to, have his defense, maybe his corner shooting, but like Kenyon said, there are limits to his game. But if Jacoby's playing 6th man, he's getting you, I don't know, anywhere from 18 to 20 minutes a night. I'm okay with that.
Like, the way I look at it, Coach, is he had 4 fouls tonight in 17 minutes. Just let him foul out. Let him play through the mistakes and let him foul out.
Yeah.
If it happens, it happens. If he doesn't, you reward him with more minutes. There you go.
Just have him play minutes. That's the big thing.
He should not be playing under 15 minutes. That's like
right.
Your bare minimum. And I said this last year. You said it last year. We talked about like if we brought this guy in to develop, and you're lowering minutes of your vets so that people can't play more than 32 minutes like last year, right? I don't know what happened this year, but hey, then I want to see some consistency there. And if that doesn't happen, then I don't want to talk about development for Mr. Darko. That's it.
So this is interesting. Ochai, we go. Everyone made a big deal about. You just made a reference to it about.
Not here on Basketball Rewind.
No. I talk about Darko not calling out, but calling up was the phrase, wherever it was.
Yeah.
Right? What nonsense was. Okay. You think any time in 25 or however minutes, I can't remember what game he was a no-show. Maybe it's a Cleveland game. Can you think 25 minutes of Walter playing, he would have a stat line of 0-0-0-0-0-0-0?
Negative.
Probably not.
Watching him play for 3-4 games that we've seen so far, I find that hard to believe. That's my answer to it. I know.
He's pretty productive on the stat sheet. I mean, his first start, he had 11 rebounds and 5 assists, along with 14 points.
Right.
That's for, was he 19, 20 years old?
19-year-old.
Or we could deal with a dude that's soon to be 25.
Yeah. Well, I'll
leave it at that.
I think
the guy's not shy.
Yeah, and I think to Kenyon's point, the development part of it, he's actually got some of the tougher shots down, kind of. Like the mid-range stuff.
Those are the limitations I'm saying, because when we saw, I think Coach actually mentioned this. He's like, oh, well, maybe, I'm seeing a little bit from Ochai. I want to see if he could do a little bit more. And we saw it, and it didn't look good.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Walter's already kind of getting midi fadeaways on ISO.
Yeah, because they're now giving Walter those, and also that's just Walter's game. He's going to take it. He has a better handle than Ochai.
Yeah.
Okay? He's taller than Ochai. He's longer than Ochai.
Better touch.
Probably a better touch. I'll leave it. I'll say TBD. It's a little bit, small sample size.
Let's put it this way. Go Ochai hit any of those floors we've seen already in the last week.
Floaters, no, but I mean, Ochai's finished around the hoop really well. I mean, remember we were talking about how he's finishing at 70%. So those who feel like I'm killing Ochai, there you go. So I mean, Ochai's had a decent season, but I'm just
Ochai's
saying,
played
like,
well this season.
you know, with one, the ceiling is the roof.
Yeah.
Right?
I just watched a play. Because I have the game on in the background, so I missed a bit of the part of the second half.
OMG.
And Jacoby was trying to. It was a screen and roll, and basically he was trying to dribble his way into meeting the defender, and he threw up a little floater in the lane. It's like probably 7 minutes and 55 seconds in the third. Ochai ain't doing that.
Also,
Jacoby is.
Also, he has really good. There was one play. I think Scotty passed to him as an outlet on transition. It's a little bit. He waited a little bit earlier. I think if it was an earlier pass, but I digress. The point is that it ended up being right under the hoop, and it's a tough layup because he basically had to contort his body and kind of like flip it up, and he got it to go. It was and one. He also got fouled on it. It was like, damn. Ochai is not doing that. I'm just like, sorry. That he is not doing that. So that's kind of, there's things that this young man can do that you rarely see on this specific team. And he's young enough, and we're in a place where why not give him some opportunity? I'm not saying all the opportunity. I'm not saying play him 30 minutes a night and stuff like that. We're not there in the season yet, but I'm just saying don't suppress the talent. And especially if Darko is about the development, the one thing, the constant critique that I've personally had about Darko is that with his minutes, he needs to find a way to consistently reward guys. And also, if you're going to hold your younger guys accountable, you also need to do it on the flip side with the older guys, whether it's Scotty Barnes, whether it's RJ, whether it's anyone who is not on their rookie scale deal, right? I want you yelling at those guys first and foremost before you yell at other guys. Chris Boucher is a whole different story. He is what he is. But I mean, hey, Darko, if you're going to treat him like a rookie, right? Then maybe be a little bit gentler, and again, hold your leadership accountable, minus Garrett Temple because he doesn't play. Okay, I think that's enough Jacoby talk. I think that's that. We look ahead really quickly. Pacers, Thunder, Mavs. This is coming before the Knicks game. I think the next 3 games is where you see if you are dead or alive, is what I will say. And the reason why I say that...
Just like Bon Jovi, eh?
Yes. Yes. Who I think has a thing next to the championship banner. Here's the question. What do you see the record within that? And then I can explain why it is crucial. So those 3 games, Coach, I'm going to go with you first. What are we doing this week?
Is the Pacers... Okay, it's in Toronto. I will be kind and say 1-2.
Okay, Beyond?
0-3.
Okay. I think there's a possibility that they could go 1-2. I'm going 0-3. I am. I don't. I have to put a sticky board or something at one of these so I can hold up the scores, kind of like the TNT guys or whatever. But but I'm gonna go with you, Beyond. Sorry, Coach, you're the optimistic one today. And yeah, I think it is possible, but the Pacers just lost a tough one. I think that they'll come back. They'll just come back and kind of show what they got. They also got Miles Turner this time, which is going to be definitely an adjustment compared to the last time where they were basically like Siakam and Halliburton, who apparently has trouble when he doesn't sleep at home. And
This is up on the road, man. It gets tough.
whatever. And and so yeah, and then of course, Shea is Shea. Shea's my guy. Sorry, I'm a Raptors fan, but I'm a Shea fan first. Okay, you want to know where my fandom is? That's the dude. Team Canada. Yes, I've been asking for this guy for years. I've been his fan since the Clippers. Right? You're one of those people that say I was there since. That was me. So so yeah. I'm counting them in. I know a lot of people counted them out. I don't. I'm counting them up. Shout out, or maybe not. And also, of course, your Mavs coming to town. It is a champagne and campaigning spot. It is a Saturday game, but it's a little later. So will the hangover be done, and will Luka get to work? We about to find out.
Interesting things in Dallas right now, man. We're 5-1 without Luka, so it's getting very interesting in Big D right now. Folks asking questions. This trend had happened last year with Dallas, where the team seemed to flow better without Luka. Now, I'm not saying that I think they're a better team without Luka in the long run, but I hope Luka's sitting there watching and learning something, all right, and understanding some things. In some ways, it actually makes Dallas a little more dangerous because they're less predictable.
They also play at a much faster pace.
And
when we play at a faster pace, there's more mistakes that happen.
Exactly.
Especially as a young team.
That's the reason why, yeah. So Kyrie's always been a handful for the Raptors to deal with.
Always.
Always. Especially that second half. So I don't think they're escaping. Dallas seems to be kind of getting things figured out right now.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's the reason why I think 0-3 is going to be the case.
Okay, fair enough. We'll mark it down for the listeners. So now, I think we're going to go into the final segment. And the final segment today, very simple. It's draft talk.